Welcome back for another helping of Oysters, Clams, and Cockles. I'm Ross Bolin, here with my buddy, Mr. Barrett Dudley, to bring you the best TV shows and movies weekly in an easily digestible podcast, packed with laughs. Barrett, how are you today, sir?
I'm okay. But you know, I didn't realize that a podcast was going to be this much work.
Yeah?
You know?
Hey.
It's like we're doing the podcast, but really it's all about the beans. And we got to have the beans.
You got a pod, but you also have to cast.
You also have to do the casting.
It's both.
Why'd you spill your beans?
Why'd you spill your beans, Tommy? Now we're back to The Lighthouse. That's from a film.
Never seen the movie. But I know the line, and therefore I'm gonna use it.
You were using it on me before I watched it.
At my discretion.
I hadn't even gotten to the line yet.
Yeah.
Oh, Tommy with his beans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun show today. We're going to discuss the Outsiders' 6th episode of the season, as well as, by the way, let me ask again before I forget, is it 10?
Oh, it's 10.
I'm going to ask every week.
It's 10.
It's 10 full episodes. We got 4 left. That's
Yeah.
nice to know. To know. The 10th season of Curb Your Enthusiasm's 4th episode, which I was stoked to go on a little
On
destination
a trip.
wedding.
Destination, yeah.
We went to Cabo.
We went to Cabo.
Which is where I went for my last destination wedding.
That's nice.
Can't wait to talk about that. Also, huge news that I'm not going to even break yet.
Don't even say
I'm
it.
not even going to say it. We're going to get into
Bury
it later.
the lead, Ross. Bury the lead.
I'm burying it right now.
Yeah.
It's buried real nice and deep like.
That's how you do it.
Yeah. Also, if my voice is a little like deeper or gravelier than usual, I've just been chain smoking cigars.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just man shit, like Tony Soprano in a robe on my back porch.
Yeah.
It's starting to backfire. I'm going to chill out with it. But I just wanted people to know, they're like, damn, Ross sounds a little more sultry than usual.
Yeah,
It's the cigars.
And for me, my note on my voice today is if I am mid-thought on a, kind of a long-running diatribe and I just have to stop and, like, catch my breath for a few seconds.
Sure.
That's because I squeezed in a workout today because the people were saying, we think you have too much energy when you come podcast after a full day of work. So what we'd like for you to do is get in a full day of work and then go exert a bunch of energy for 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And then do the podcast.
Then record.
Yeah. Just
so
take
you're just
that,
fresh.
Yeah.
So you come in fresh.
So I come in fresh. Yeah.
So this is your day starting right now.
Yeah. Right.
I get it.
Right,
I get
exactly.
it. I follow.
Do all, get your 10 hours in before you podcast. Do everything that you
was
need
a warm-up
to do. Yeah, that's
for
right.
this.
That was all. It's all for you guys. It's all
None
for you.
of that mattered.
So,
this now.
Yeah.
is
So
time.
that's the note on my my voice today.
Yeah. Also, Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey.
We're going to talk about that for
Okay.
a moment because there's some news revolving around it and its success or lack thereof so far. And then we're going to give you a little preview of our Oscars talk from Patreon, just a little snippet, a few little minutes so people can see, oh, these gentlemen discussed the Academy Awards.
That's great.
My
Yeah.
God, if I go to patreon.com/oystersclamscockles, I can listen to this entire conversation and laugh my balls or butt off.
Laugh your butt off.
It's your choice.
Yeah.
Balls or butt.
Well, either or.
Can't have both. Can't have both. Today's episode of OCC, speaking of which, is brought to you by Quip, makers of the greatest electric toothbrush in the entire world. They want you to know that the one single discovery that matters most for your dental care, it is simply this, that if you have good habits, you are good. That means brushing for 2 minutes twice a day, flossing regularly, no matter what brand you use. Quip makes that simple. Starting with an electric toothbrush, refillable floss, and anti-cavity toothpaste, all of their products are phenomenal. Quip's electric toothbrush has sensitive sonic vibrations with a built-in timer and 30-second pulses to guide a full and even clean. So every time you brush your teeth, you zone out. You forget what the hell you're doing. You're not paying attention. This thing buzzes so that you're like, oh, okay, switch sides, moron. It's awesome. It's the greatest thing in the world. I don't go to bed till late. I'm a night owl. It's 2:30 in the morning. I'm half awake. This thing's making sure I walk and get in my bed with like a dentist clean mouth. It's incredible. I love it. The Quip floss dispenser comes with pre-marked string to help you use just enough. Plus, Quip delivers fresh brush heads, floss, and toothpaste refills to your door every 3 months with free shipping, so your routine is always just right. Join over 3 million healthy mouths and get Quip today starting at $25. And if you go to getquip.com/dragon, that's dragon, right now, you'll get your first refill free. That's your first refill free at getquip.com/dragon, GETQUIP.com/dragon. Quip, the Good Habits company. Speaking of patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles, which I brought up earlier. I just get to say speaking of whenever I feel like it, apparently now. The rules don't actually apply to what that phrase means to me anymore. I don't respect it. It's clear. We're so far in the month of February, we've given you our 2020 Oscars recap and review, which you're going to hear a little bit of as a little teaser, a little, slap and tickle later in the episode. And then we did our hotline calls for all, where we gave everybody, not just members of the Mollusk Militia, but also the Crustacean Nation, a feel for how our hotline call extravaganzas work. And it was quite fun.
Yes.
We discuss all of the different things when we go through these hotline calls, you see. You're allowed to bring up whatever you want.
So if you go join right now, what happens is you can join our less expensive tier for $5 a month.
Crustacean Nation.
And see what the hotline call episodes are all about.
Testing.
And then you can say,
give it a little test.
That sounds good.
I'll have that.
And upgrade yourself to the Mollusk Militia so that you get that every month.
What's the soup du jour? Yes, Barrett is correct. You can absolutely get in there right now and be like, I'm going to test it. Give it a little testy, a little see, look-see. And pay the $5. And if you say this is for me, then you choose it. My God, it's very easy to bump your tier up to the next level.
And if you choose it, so it shall be as it is.
As it is. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, other great stuff coming down the line this month on Patreon as well. For those of you who are like, what the fuck is Patreon? It's just a place to support the show and get more ad-free OCC in exchange. We love it. Patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles. Oh, by the way, when you sign up on there, either in the Crustacean Nation or Mollusk Militia, you'll immediately gain access to everything we have ever posted in that tier, which is just a ton of great additional ad-free OCC for you to absorb right there on Patreon.com/oysters, clams, cockles. All right, jumping into the Outsider. Shall we?
Yeah. But first, I just want to congratulate ourselves for just a raucous 10 minutes, first 10 minutes of the podcast.
Was that 10 minutes?
Something like that.
Fucking
Maybe
hot.
it was only 7. But we just jammed pop culture references in, left
dude,
and
you
right.
should work out before every episode.
No, not just, it was crazy.
The positive energy in the room right now is electric.
I think we should bring somebody in to do a rap recap of the first 8 minutes of the podcast. Even though everybody just listened to the first 8 minutes of the podcast, it'd be nice if somebody came in and did a rap recap.
I agree.
Of it, talking about all the pop culture references that we just made, and then also maybe throwing in some lines about how we're just all about Wilmer Valderrama
and the Cash Money.
And the Cash Monies. Just throw in a few lines about that too while you're at it. Okay, on to The Outsider.
Okay, episode 6. It's titled "The One About the Yiddish Vampire." And can I say first?
Yeah.
HBO Max announced this week they're doing a 1-hour Friends reunion.
It's on. It's on again?
It's on. It's back on. It's back on, Jerry.
Okay. I didn't know this.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. I'm almost positive. I'm like 86% sure.
Okay.
I mean, a quick Google search could tell us one way or the other, but fuck it. I felt like this maybe was a little bitty like tip of the cap, like we own for the rights to Friends. Was it not every Friends episode's titled the one where, Ross shits his pants?
It was not. It was an obvious nod to Friends.
So I'm not crazy. I didn't.
No, that's if you name an episode of a TV show, the one with or the one where.
Okay.
That is a Friends thing.
Okay, cool. I didn't know if that was known.
They invented that.
It is known.
So, who's to say whether it was like producers at HBO that threw that in there, or if
the writers of the show,
or if hardened, gritty crime writer Richard Price just has a soft spot for Friends. I don't know.
The former. Like they were like somebody made a call the night after, the announcement about the Friends thing and was like, "Hey Rick, listen, we're gonna be changing the title of this one and make a little Friends joke. Are you cool with that?" And he was probably like, "Motherfuck!" like spiked the phone, and they were like, "All right, no, we're good. The one about the Yiddish vampires should do."
Yeah, looks like this Friends reunion is nearing a deal. Rumored to be hosted by Ellen DeGeneres, and it would be a one-off special. So yeah, it's in the mix.
Okay, rumored to be in the works.
Hey, baby.
Still, not confirmed. I also saw a Twitter joke earlier from somebody. I wish I could credit them. Search it. I'm sure it's been ripped off 1,000 times by other morons already. That said they should name the episode the one where we all make $5 million.
They should name it that.
Because they're all going to make.
They should. Let me just quick aside.
$5 million.
Do you need this? Do you need a Friends reunion?
No.
You want this?
No, but I'm not a Friends guy. I don't give a fuck. You have to understand, Friends has ruined a piece of me. my whole life, I've been connected to a character on that show. And he's the worst Ross that ever existed. So it's in a very strange place for me because I enjoy the characters, obviously, and I was like, I get it. It's a huge piece of a lot of people I grew up with lives, friends.
Yeah, yeah.
But David Schwimmer tried to destroy my whole brand before it even existed.
Okay.
Gotcha. So it's a strange thing for
All
me.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, but I mean, no, I don't need this.
Look, it's a massive, massive thing. It's a massive pop culture occurrence. And so, like, I'll tune in for it, but this is low on my list of, like,
You know, I've never been able to date a girl named Rachel
things I'm stoked about.
because of this fucking show. Never.
Have you
Every Rachel I've ever met in my life.
Have there been Rachels where you were like, this could totally work, but your name's Rachel?
4 of them. 4 different Rachels over the years where I was like, motherfucker.
At least 4. Wow.
Yes.
You hate to see it.
The second you meet him. I meet a girl and she goes, my name is Rachel. I just walk away.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's done. It's over.
That sounds smart.
It fucking sucks. Okay, sorry. What were we talking about? The Outsider?
The Outsider.
First, can we do the Holly Gibney thing again? What the shit? Did we touch on it on Patreon?
We
I feel like maybe
we did. We did touch it on Patreon.
When we were on the Academy Awards.
But in case you hadn't connected all of these things in your brain yet.
Hey, we could use that part for our teaser. I haven't decided.
Yeah, well.
On the fly. Look at us producing.
That's right.
Sorry.
Holly is played by actress Cynthia Erivo, who was just nominated for an Oscar for her role in Harriet as Harriet Tubman. That's the role that she played. And she's also
sounds like the star.
She's also starring in the upcoming Aretha Franklin miniseries, which will be on the National Geographic Channel for some reason. But I think that also means we're going to
Everybody's in the game.
I think that also means we're going to get it on Disney Plus. And she's like one of the hottest names in the game right now.
What's her actress name?
Cynthia Erivo. And I didn't know who she was 8 weeks ago.
Neither did I. She has the ability to pull off so many looks.
Very many looks. It's crazy.
And is also potentially a hobbit.
I think she's small in stature.
Are they playing with that at all on The Outsider?
No.
You think?
No.
She's just very small.
I think she's just very small. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Indeed. A dynamite performer in more aspects than we previously understood.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude? This woman is ridiculously talented.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Aretha miniseries looks pretty interesting. Looks good.
She was introduced, episode 2 or 3 of this show?
3.
She is the star of this show.
And now she's kind of the lead.
I think, like, if it wasn't intentional, she's accidentally the lead.
Mm-hmm.
She's the scene-stealing lead of the show in every scene she's in.
Yeah.
Ralph is more like he's subdued at this point a little bit comparatively. Well, things in this episode, we'll see where this takes Holly from here because she's in a pretty bad spot there at the end, Barrett.
Yeah, sticky situation.
Not
here.
Yeah. Where you want to be.
No.
With Rash Cop taking you off.
With the neck guy.
That guy's taking you off to make you a neck girl.
Yeah.
Not what you want to be necking with that dude.
Mm-mm.
Don't get caught necking. You know that used to call it making out necking?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. It's got nothing to do with your fucking neck. Also, sometimes in rap, they say, give me neck instead of head.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Pop culture.
Mm-hmm.
We're just trying to get you learned. If you're like 46 in your car right now on the way to work and you're like, this disgusting son of a bitch. Look, we'll get back to the TV. Just give me my moments of crude humor. Anyway, Holly Gibney and her actress blew my mind.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, to talk about what happened in this episode. First off, can I please make fun of everyone in the show and in the writer's room for thinking that once they had 5 fucking pictures of El Cuco lined up on a wall that very clearly connected everything. First of all, the episode opens with Ralph holding his wife's and the kids, right? And he's like, I don't really see the resemblance. They're the same photo.
Well, he's
Somebody
like...
make us that meme right now. That meme right now.
The Pam, yeah.
Yes.
Pam
you
Beasley.
know which one.
Okay, we were watching this episode, and he starts picking up the two, looking at them like as if he's starting to make the connection, like maybe these two. I thought that was, what are you, the dead obvious in the last episode.
Ralph, you're so behind.
As soon, yes.
We were already talking through this shit. Like,
yeah.
What happened here?
You didn't take your wife's drawing and you're like, oh shit, this looks like the one that the kid drew.
No. So he's staring at him and he's like,
you're the one talking about evidence and facts and dumb cop shit like that.
and then you can't even put
and then
these...
you don't.
That shows how fucking blind to it all he is, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, it shows exactly how it turned. Because, look, he's so fucking caught up at this point. He can't even see that the two things he's looking at are the exact same picture.
Right.
Then his wife has to go and get the photos out of these kids, get the drawings out of these kids' heads, because she's the only one actually making any progress.
Yeah,
here.
they do a what is that called when you go get
a bait and switch.
No, when you go and you do the when the police do the drawing, you describe them and they do the drawing.
Yeah. Oh, there's no way I'll come up with that now, though. But
Mike,
yeah,
you got no.
They ask you for a sketch, but
a police sketch. A police sketch. There you go.
Sketch artist.
Yeah.
Fuck yes, I'm on fire. See, Rachel, you idiot. Anyway.
Yeah, it's a police sketch. A police sketch. That's
yeah.
what
Okay.
I was looking for.
So she goes and gets those out of those kids, and then she's like, she puts them on the wall because she's not, the stupidest human being alive, and she's like, oh, well, they're all the same fucking picture.
Right.
And then they go and have that meeting. Then Holly comes to their house, and only then is Holly like, hold up. Are y'all fucking with me? You didn't even bring the lineup of the photos. This is clearly a huge break in the case here. What the hell are these pictures on the wall?
Yeah, don't you think that would have been like maybe the one relevant thing for Glory to have seen? What? Oh, these things that my daughter's described, 2 other people have seen this thing. Like, I don't think she's going to believe anybody one way or the other, but...
Because it's
but
not...
at least that's something.
It's not a generic stick figure, bro. It's a unique enough looking monster to where if you see both pictures,
absolutely.
you go, oh shit, this is the
they
same freak.
All have the hood. They all have the crooked eye. They all have the weird smile, the black holes, the whole shebang, baby.
So in the end, she puts it together, right? This is the evolution of this thing. It's shedding its skin, if you will. It's metamorphosizing into the whatever it needs to become to do its business next.
Right. Although
that's why there's gaps in the killings,
they
right?
then insinuate that like the thing was kind of projecting itself into the home of Ralph, but it left its residue. So I don't know how its like holograph version leaves a residue.
I didn't follow that very clearly.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, okay, so they finally green light the chair, or whatever it's called. Green light, blue light, red light, green light, blue light, green
now,
fish.
do you think that you have to, if you do this on your iPhone, you have to do blue and a red? I mean, a purple? No. What am I saying? It's a purple.
Try to make a.
It's like a purple light, and they use blue and red to make the purple.
But it's called a blue light, right?
Right. Yeah.
Isn't it?
That's okay. Yeah. Never mind though.
Blue light hotel room.
Never mind. She used 2 primary colors.
Yeah, UV light.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's all over the chair, and then they get into that discussion about the projecting or the hologram. What I didn't understand that. I was very confused by that conversation.
Yeah. She doesn't think it's like in a strong enough state to be out and about right now.
In its cycle.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why it hasn't fully taken over strip club guy yet.
Right.
At that point, who we've got another cop watching.
We think what it's doing right now is transforming into strip club guy.
Right. Slowly.
Right.
He hasn't gotten he hadn't gotten hit yet, or whatever.
Well, he's gotten no. So he has.
He's not.
Hit.
So he's not going to be a rash guy.
Don't forget, Terry Maitland was totally fine throughout all of this. He got the cut, and Cuckoo did his thing. He doesn't. Once he scratches the host, if you will, he doesn't need that dude anymore.
He doesn't have to make you a rash guy.
The rash guy is an accomplice.
Rash guy is a totally different category from scratch guy.
Yes, Rashneck, old Jack, our police guy, he's going to be the one that brings the Cuckoo strip club version. El Cuckoo, strip club version, edition.
Yes, edition, yes.
Yeah. He's going to help him, he's going to serve up the murderees on a platter or whatever.
Okay.
The victims.
That's intense.
Yeah. You got there's two things you have, or there's 3 parts to the dealio.
Yeah.
I'm using scientific words here.
Of course. Always.
You got El Cuckoo. He scratches somebody.
Yep.
That means that he can turn into them.
Mm-hmm.
But then he needs the help of neck rash guy.
Gotta have a sidekick.
Gotta have, yeah. So right now, we still, what we don't know, one of the mysteries hanging out there is we don't know who Terry Maitland's net guy was or is.
Right. Okay. Damn. Dude, this is a lot. Okay, so what is the intention of net guy with Holly, you think? Because it's told him, stop her.
Yeah.
She's getting too close. She's figured shit out. And she also has recognized that it is trying to stop her.
Yes.
That it is actively attempting to destroy Ralph and stop all of this from happening.
At the end of this episode, when she sees Jack's rash on the back of his neck.
And is like, oh, shit balls.
She knows what's happening.
At that point, yeah. But she can't,
totally.
obviously, he's like, no.
So Jack is taking her out to kill her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's problematic for her.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. Okay, what else happens in this one?
So Ralph, very incredulous, not really buying into any of this yet. But he goes to, I thought an important scene was when he goes to see Glory after she storms out of the big meetup.
Right.
And it's clear that Grief Monster is infecting her. And we kind of see
she's like buying into
we kind of
maybe
see like how he's getting her now. It's because she's starting to believe that Terry actually did it, which is going to tear her life apart. It's going to ruin everything she ever thought she knew.
Right.
And like, you know,
it's finally getting to her.
Lead to something horrific.
Because nobody's been able to serve her up anything of substance that she can wrap her hands around.
Exactly.
So she's finally starting
and
to
that
break.
Was kind of another a piece of the cycle that we didn't have yet. Like we see everybody, we know how all these other victims and hosts, how it kind of played out for their extended family and people that they were close with, and you know,
people getting got.
Hofstadter's mom driving into the pole, and guy hanging himself, and heart attacks and strokes, and suicide by trying to kill other people, and just all this nasty stuff that we're seeing
with an empty pistol.
How it spirals out,
yeah.
And now we get a look at like how it's going to try to take down Glory is with this insidious thought about what if her husband really was like this monster that brutally, savagely murdered this little kid.
So we see how it has its hooks in her.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, Holly says to Terry, or to Ralph rather, that she thinks he would be the number one target if she was El Cuco.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, sorry, because he doesn't have any evidence that he has been El Cuco'd yet, right? And she's like, hold up. Have you had any like unexpected visitors or any dreams? And this is the one thing about Ralph, and I like this about his character. If you start to press on the truth, if you ask a question that leads to the truth, he will tell the truth still.
Right.
Even if it's discrediting his theory.
Sure.
Or pushing away from his argument. So he admits to her, not directly, but he says it wasn't him.
Yeah. Yep.
And she can piece it together. Right. But he's refusing to believe that situation where his son came out and said, you have to let me go, that was El Cuco trying to get him to let go of everything in this case, pretty much, too. It was, whatever. It doesn't matter what the exact message was. But I'm interested to see, because of what she said, like it seems like you'd be the number one target. And now that we're seeing some of the other places that El Cuco is starting to take hold, it's like what will happen with Ralph next? Because right now he's pretty much freaking useless, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the dude is making zero progress.
Yeah, he keeps, I mean, and that's because he wants to base everything, his resistance to
the unknown and the possibility of
the
paranormal
unexplainable,
shit.
Really, the stuff that doesn't make sense is kind of...
He has no place for it or whatever, no room for it.
Is stalemating him, essentially.
Yeah.
Because he's going to continue looking for evidence
just
that's
bumping
not,
up against
that's not
it over
really
and
there.
over.
You
Right.
know? I think his buddy from the GBI, the kind of the other investigator, the one that is, because of his family history, he's got a little bit, you know, he's the one that tells him that dreams are messages.
Mm-hmm.
He's familiar with El Cuckoo.
Yes.
I don't think anybody told him to do this or even knows that he's following Strip Club Guy.
Right. So we don't see what happens next, right? That's the last we see of Strip Club Guy.
So I have a feeling that he's going to come in handy following this dude around.
Potential savior type of situation for that
Yeah.
cop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he also was like, you could tell he he dabbed himself up, old cross style on the chest. I forget what that's called.
Right,
No disrespect to my Catholics out there.
Sign of the cross.
When they were talking about El Cuco, he was like, nope, not messing with this shit. And I told you, dude, like, I've gotten DMs from people who were like, y'all shouldn't even be talking about
Oh, yeah, no, on
the
Twitter.
show.
We've gotten some mentions.
Like, y'all shouldn't be talking about this shit. And I'm like, well, it's problematic, you see, because we're discussing the television show rooted in this thing. But for real, people take this shit very, very seriously. It is wild. What'd you make of Holly's vision on the bus? She's on the bus.
I did not know what to make of that, especially because
the whole bus scene was weird, man.
The bus driver kind of looks at her.
They seemed to...
And we go ahead.
There was some kind of presence there because like she's on the bus and she's sitting and it's doing all its weird ominous music shit that this show does. But they like focused on another passenger for a second who almost seemed to be like he was like you know what I'm saying? Like he got taken or some shit.
That was the driver.
That was the driver they showed?
Yeah.
Oh no shit.
That's why I was confused.
Okay, then it was real weird.
They show the driver and you get this kind of eerie feeling that the driver is
malevolent.
Yeah, thank you. Great word.
Yeah.
And just as she's about to respond to the Andy, I think his name is, the private investigator or the mall security guy back in Ohio, the Wi-Fi goes out. So like I was getting
as if somebody just did that.
Turned it off. Yeah.
That's
like
what
the
I'm
bus
saying.
driver turned it off
Yeah.
or something like that.
But
then the bus driver is all like just a regular dude when
he's like, hey, what the
accidentally
fuck?
freaks out.
What are you, crazy? You almost killed us all.
Yeah, drives her to the right place and nothing happens. And so I didn't know what to think about the vision.
Or like why a bus driver would swerve into the fucking side of an embankment or whatever and then be like, we're all good and just continue on down the road.
I think maybe... I think maybe it was just like her kind of getting caught up in all of the darkness and all of the scary stuff, almost like after, a lot of people, they watch something like The Outsider and then they don't want to take their dogs out because they're freaked out and they'll see stuff or hear stuff and, like that type of thing. Like when you start diving into this, you kind of scare yourself a little bit, right?
Sure.
So that's one possible explanation. The other thing that it could possibly tie to is... even though we have El Cuckoo using Jack to say, to stop her, and we know that El Cuckoo can appear in various forms to other people. He appeared as Jack's mom.
Right. That was terrifying.
He's appearing as Ralph's son.
That was so Stephen King, by the way. It just felt like Stephen King, man, like a moment.
So, like, why isn't he appearing to Holly to try to stop her? Why isn't he just like,
Yeah, it feels like his powers are sort of, there's a reserve on what it can do, when, and how much it has to have accomplished and able to do that next thing. Or like there's a checklist almost, right?
And there's also, she mentions when she's trying to lay everything out to the group that she thinks that these people were quote unquote chosen.
Right.
And we don't know where they're going with that either yet. Like what?
But they have to have,
they were chosen.
but they have to have a grief, right? Or a darkness or some horrible loss in their life. Like with Terry, they had lost a son, right? Or some shit.
No, that's Ralph.
Terry hadn't had a kid lost or anything like that?
No.
Weird.
Yeah.
Because like even with they're in with the cop is that like his wife left him and then he clearly had some type of fucked up relationship with his mother. So like it uses the things in your life or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, that scene with him. Why did it show him his mother and then have his mother beat the ever-living piss out of him?
I think because that was the worst thing, for him.
Was he trying to get out of the web of the thing?
He was like, what's the thing in Harry Potter? It appears as the scariest thing to you.
Sure, yeah.
That thing?
That thing was awesome. Great scene. Phenomenal. The spider on ice skates or whatever.
So I feel like that's kind of what it's doing.
Snape in a dress and shit.
Like it's going to appear as something horrifying to you personally.
But what was it accomplishing? It already had him, right?
Oh, so it had alleviated his neck rash.
And he said, "Oh God, thank you."
Like thank
you.
But then he wasn't listening. He didn't stop Holly when it told him to.
Ah, okay. So then it beat the shit out of him, and now he's fully
gave
back.
the rash back to him even worse.
And now he's okay. I'll do whatever you want again.
Yeah.
I was like sort of there, but not all the way. So thank you.
Yeah.
this was helpful.
Speaking of Harry Potter, they stole the etching in the hands thing too, right from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
How about
That's
that?
creepy as hell.
Yeah. All in all, I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. This should have been 8 episodes, not 10. This
one scared the shit out of me, though.
There's so much that, like, I think very clearly could have been. You could have taken easily the last 3 episodes and made it 2.
That's how this dude does, though.
Price or King?
Whichever one is the last or the night of.
Yeah, Richard Price.
Yeah, it's sort of he just draws. It's like, remember in the night of how we'd have those long shots of stuff where you're just like a character will get up and walk away, and the shot will maintain for another 15 seconds on where they were seated.
Yep.
And you're like, well that didn't seem necessary. There's 7 minutes of that in an episode.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of it. It's stylistic that they're literally. I mean, like, because you're absolutely right. They could trim down the shit out of this. Like, Ralph hasn't done anything in weeks. He's like the second main character, if not the first anymore. So it's just weird. It's in a weird spot.
What I find interesting is that, and I don't know, I haven't read the book, but what I've read online and like some reviews of the show is that they blasted through like a huge chunk of the book in like the first 2 or 3 episodes.
No, maybe that's why they're just like.
And so now they really like.
Damn.
What it basically sounds like is they've stretched the last 7 episodes are covering the last quarter of the book, basically, or something like that.
They may have saved our asses a lot of time
as
there.
ratio goes. And I don't know if that's exact, but that's kind of what I'm
getting the feel.
That's the inference that some of these reviews and critiques are making. But I'm really enjoying the show. It's scary. It's tense. It's a cool story.
This one gave me the creeps. This one.
This episode, though, I did have like it. This one was definitely the one where I was like, this does not need to be 10 episodes. It also I
hated the picture thing. Really bugged me, man.
Yeah, and then
unless that's intentional, and I'm not getting it yet.
In every scary story like this, you get to a point where, and this is horror 101, right? But like sometimes what you don't know and what you can't see is what's scary about something. So we're approaching landing here. And
where you think we get...
And we know about Stephen King's, penchant for otherworldly turtle gods and...
Crazy shit
like that. And so I'm just like a little worried that in the explanation and the landing and the finish for the show...
Shit gets weird.
You're just going to be like, oh, what the shit? You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I don't think HBO would have bought the story if it ended shitty.
I just keep it super dark and demonish and like mysterious and scary as hell.
Learn something from True Detective season 1, bruh.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't need all the answers.
Yes, exactly. And don't try to give me too much. You know what I mean? And I know that's hypocritical because everybody always like wants the answers, and we criticize stuff when they don't actually explain anything to us.
Yeah, but there's like a layer. There's like a perfect layer there.
At the same time, it's like I just don't want it to be hokey either.
I know what you mean. Especially because these performances from these actors are so fucking good.
Yeah.
That it would be a shame if they can't land. That being said, you're saying we're approaching. I mean, not really.
Yeah, we got 4 episodes left. Yeah,
not really, man. That was a long ass hour of TV.
Yeah, we're just past the halfway point.
It's like in all actuality. Speaking of Stephen King and turtles, this is like a turtley pace for the story of the last few episodes. Moving on to Curb Your Enthusiasm, unless you have any other outsider takes. To spit.
Let's see. No, I don't think I do. By the way, you know what's been really interesting? When I need like a quick recap just to have up in front of me, remind me of stuff the show's going on.
Yeah.
And I've been Googling top recap on Forbes. Forbes.com has like the top recap.
Forbes is always getting up in the recaps.
They must have some dynamite SEO, huh?
They throw down the cash in the SEO department. It's probably stellar. That's their whole deal. Forbes is SEO columns at this point, so that makes sense.
Yeah,
sort of. Yeah. Curb Your Enthusiasm's 4th episode, as we spoke to at the beginning of our pod, revolves around Larry getting invited to go on a destination wedding in Mexico, in Cabo. And Cheryl's invited as well, which there's like, the checklist of all the different things Larry covers in this episode is ridiculous, and we'll just go through all of them. So, okay, first of all, there was a clip of Larry David that went viral of him answering a question that you and I have sort of touched on over the weeks. Basically, the interviewer asked him what he would think about people who wear MAGA hats in real life and see his show. And he basically said, I don't give a fuck. I do not give a fuck what anybody would think about any of this. It's just, and I didn't even take that as an offensive thing at like, fuck all the MAGA people. It was like, it's a goddamn television show.
Yeah, to paraphrase, the guy asks him if he's worried about alienating
anyone,
those that might align themselves with the MAGA hat, and he says
I don't give a fuck. No. And that's also, again, to frame that up in the like, I didn't take that as a fuck you thing so much. In comedy, you make fun of everyone, right? So like Larry gets into anybody and everybody. It's sort of like the South Park thing. If you make fun of everybody, it's okay, you know? And everybody has to be on board for that, though, too. Like, you got to be okay with being made fun of. Anyway, that was just like a random clip that went viral that I thought was just cool. I love seeing him in his element, like in real life.
Yeah.
When he starts freaking out. And he was just like very passionate about his answer. Anyway, first off, disrespecting the captain. You don't disrespect the captain. There's this guy who wants to be called the captain instead of the pilot.
You must have been so offended by this.
I was just drooling, there was a point in our lives where Barrett and I were associated with a captain of a boat.
Yeah.
Because we were on a boat. Our friend took us on this boat and in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And
in early and late college, actually.
True. We got to go multiple times. It was phenomenal. Shouts to the Stoica family. We appreciate y'all. And when we were on this boat, anyway, this captain, we got real drunk one night, and apparently I found captain to be the most admirable, respected position in the world at that moment.
Yeah.
And I proceeded to tell this gentleman for about 40 minutes how special he was to me. Because you're the captain, man.
You're the captain.
Because you're the captain, and our lives are in your captain hands, man. And he was just like, what the fuck? I think he was probably on cocaine, it ended up, which is really funny in hindsight.
Which is, I mean, you drunk him high. You probably just continued in this circular egging each other on.
Dude.
He's eating it up.
He's loving it. He was a 45-year-old washed cocaine addict, and I'm just building his ego. It couldn't be better for him.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm doing it. Slowly but surely, all my friends trickle away from the table, and nobody's ever shut up about it. I have no idea what happened.
All that to say, you, of all people, understand the importance of
respecting
a captain, of a captain and what he does and brings to the table.
Absolutely.
And if he needs to know the weights, you give him your weight. That's just Captain 101, I would think.
Listen, I loved that we've started to get into rich people problems with Larry, like the weight on a private jet thing, and using what company is it that he used in this one?
I didn't even notice.
Almost struck me as they had to have paid.
Was it NetJets?
Maybe, or one of the other ones. It doesn't matter. One of those big ones.
Was there a brand on the jet?
Oh yeah.
I didn't even notice.
Oh yeah, it was like a full blown. I was like, well. I hope they got paid for that. It struck me as a fucking commercial. But that's not a normal person problem. That's not something that most people even are aware of as an issue.
That's true.
That if you rent a private jet, you have to list all the passengers that are going on that jet's weight so that they can ensure the jet maintains between the weight balance it's supposed to.
Right.
That's a thing that wealthy people encounter, not normal people. So it cracks me up when that shit starts to leak into his show because he's been so wealthy for so fucking long. And I loved the concept of all the ways that weight tied into this. And the yo-yo with his random date, this woman he met, that he doesn't know if she's yo-yoing up or yo-yoing down, but she's certainly yoing, was fucking hilarious. The bringing in a carnival weight guesser, somehow tying that into the whole,
I loved that,
was unbelievable. He's got everybody out there spinning him around, making him, this guy needs to see every side of him to be able to guess their weight accurately.
You know, we weren't sure how we felt about the kind of like really over the top slapstick nature of the ending of episode 3.
Yeah.
But when Curb goes like with these kind of like zany plot points that really do feel like they could be something out of a cartoon, basically.
Right.
Sometimes that's when the show is like running on all cylinders. You know what I mean?
But they have to hit. It's
they do have to hit. In the episode 3, it was so Three Stooges
yeah,
for lack of a better word. It was such an homage to like that really absurdist slapstick, kind of
it was ridiculous
inanity that it did. It felt almost ridiculous. This was just a really, really funny situation. Just a great, like, it's just creative as well. Something you wouldn't think of to like tie the guess your weight guy to the weights on a private jet to
the yo-yoer.
Yeah, it's just all really, really well put together and funny. And I don't, because the hiatus between seasons is so long, especially when you like prior to season 9.
Yeah.
We're talking seasons 1 through 7 were like early mid 2000s.
It's
basically.
been a long ass
So it's
time.
been a long time since I've seen most of those episodes. And I can't quite remember if they had a lot of this or if it was all a little bit.
Oh, they did.
A lot. I feel like they did.
It's always been the core of the show.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I thought this one was really funny.
I also agree, dude, because it had moments where I felt the same slapstickiness between him and Jeff, especially, but it was hysterical instead of silly. Like I was like, It was working instead of making me uncomfortable. I had one more rich people problem he inserted was chipping in, because this is how this works in wealthy scenarios. There'll be like 2 motherfuckers that own jets, right? Or that have the means to rent jets. And then all these rich people, they go do things together, go to golf tournaments, resorts, whatever rich people do. And people often try to score free rides to things through each other and don't want to chip in. And I imagine Larry, being one of the wealthier people in Los Angeles at this point, has encountered this many, many times where Larry's either going to the Academy Awards and letting somebody ride with him or something like that. And I guarantee you that's where it came from, which is, again, not a normal person thing, but it's sort of that one trickles down. We all understand not chipping in for something and how it could be funny. But on that scale, I'm telling you, that came from life, not from...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, you imagine that Larry sits around with Jerry and Ted Danson and like these guys that are
multi-millionaires,
they're all 100 millionaires at least. And
you think Ted's got that kind of money from Cheers?
I do, and because he keeps doing stuff left and right, like The Good Place, and
dude, he has always had a good career. He's never really had a lull.
Yeah,
good for him.
Yeah, he's definitely.
But he doesn't have Jerry or Larry money.
I don't think he's quite there, but I'm sure that he is. He's charter a jet when you need to, wealthy.
Sure.
So it's probably something funny that,
or at the very least, chip in.
I just, this is one of those ones that they've probably all experienced, which is why they can all kind of
relate to it. Sure,
they can make it funny.
Yeah.
You know,
I related heavily to Larry's hotel room situation because Barrett, every hotel room I've ever checked into in my entire life has let me down. And
you've never checked into one where you were like, "This is it. This is the place."
Never.
Yeah.
Never happened. There is always an issue. I always arrive. They don't have the room I booked because I went through Expedia or some shit.
Right.
No. That room's gone. Why would they have that room? It's the room I paid for. They have this other room. It's of equal or lesser value.
I will say, by and large, totally agree with the sentiment. The professional photography done for hotel rooms and in the marketing materials on hotel websites
is too much. It's too much.
It makes every, like, kind of decent tier and above hotel look amazing.
Yeah.
Like you're just going to be rolling in the swank,
This is the softest fucking bed you've ever seen. The pillows are made of angel tits.
Everything's
like
fresh and new and bright light and just everything's just golden.
Champagne shower. Yeah. No, it's disgusting.
And then you get there
and it's just a
and
bloodbath.
They almost never live up to the
body in
to
the
the
corner.
pictures. Yeah.
Well, and the other part though is literally every time I've gone on a group trip, I walk into my shit ass hotel room and I'm like, yeah, this is what happens. And then I go like over to your room or whoever. And the other person's room is always nasty, like incredible, baller, the nicest room I've ever seen. And I'm like, what happened here? Or it'll be like 2 people splitting a big-ass suite. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm stuck in a corner. There's a rat. There's a rat in my shower using it to bathe.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. Anyway, so I loved the shitty hotel room situation because everybody says their room is great. And it's, it's a fucking hotel. Larry finds his beans in Cabo.
Yeah.
That we find he's going to need.
I also really liked the whole. This also, again, it felt so elementary, but it worked so well. Him and Leon going to all the coffee in the montage, testing all the coffee places.
Yes.
Every time taking a sip, looking at each other, and just going.
Yeah.
Shaking their heads.
It's like this childish level of comedy.
So funny to me.
He maintains that though. We don't have that anywhere else. Like, this is the place it lives on. Is like this silly ass slapstick, weird ass old school comedy. It's on Curb.
It's on Curb. It is. Yeah.
Fucking bizarre. But he finds his beans.
I feel like he's really. I do feel like he's really bringing it back this season, though.
For sure, it's stronger.
It's strong this season.
The vibe is strong this season. The beans he ends up loving are the hotel's proprietary beans, though.
I mean, it's a proprietary blend. Like
it is. So he can't get his hands on it. Then him and Leon spot a thing of beans like going through the wedding, where Larry is dressed like for some reason an international island spy. His date, the yo-yo, is dressed in Susie's clothes, which is unbelievable. Eventually, in the end of the episode, he gets his beans. He gets back on the plane. He's weighed all of his friends via Ernesto. And they're still over because for whatever reason he didn't account for the beans.
Yeah.
So then he has to stay behind?
Yeah.
And they leave his ass on the net jet or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
That's it.
Yeah. That's Curb.
Yeah, I could see the beans on the jet thing coming from a mile away, but I loved that he stuck with the beans. It's all about the beans, you know?
Beans are good.
Latte Larry's is going to be a failure if they don't get the right beans.
So a thumbs up or thumbs down episode for you?
Oh, thumbs up for sure.
Yeah, me too. This was an upswing.
Everything. It had the great cameo from Timothy Oliphant as well as Mickey, who I thought was who was the perfect smarmy groom.
Oh my God! Yes,
glad handing everybody, but also not really caring about anybody else's experience except for his own. Which, by the way,
I've got a thing.
You're a groom. It's absolutely your right. But he was the perfect guy to play that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
What else? I laughed out loud, like, you know, what is it called? Buckled over when Larry grabbed Leon's peanut butter and jelly crackers and just started smashing them.
And then he goes, "Motherfucker, now I'm gonna have to eat this with a spoon." He's still gonna eat this shit, but he doesn't care.
That was like one of my absolute favorite after-school snacks.
You're fucking ridiculous.
Is Ritz crackers with peanut butter and a little bit of jelly on top of each one.
Never done it in my life.
Are you serious?
And
You're a big PB&J
guy.
Oh my God, it's so good.
I don't know how I missed this.
Yeah,
especially because I
know.
knew you long. Like maybe this was like you were too old by the time I met you.
Yeah,
for the snack.
probably. I probably was.
Damn.
Even though I mean, there were definitely nights in college dorms and apartments that I probably resorted to this.
I feel like what the shit.
Yeah,
man,
but
I feel deprived. You fed me a fucking 2-week-old Jack in the Box taco once. You couldn't feed me up some fucking regular snacks,
some peanut butter and jelly Ritz crackers.
Christ.
So immediately I was like, oh, that's a good snack. Leon knows what's up. And then I don't know. Just it reminded me of some of the SNL sketches that I always find funniest.
Right.
Which are usually, again, like when people are just doing just the most ridiculous shit to each other, basically. When stuff is so over the top.
It's absurd humor.
Yeah, so Larry just grabbing that and just smashing it all with his hand. I don't know.
Bro, Leon is wearing a necklace.
That really got me.
We put this photo up on our Instagram because HBO put it up as well. With it like it was like his necklace that Leon wears is prominent. And I had never noticed this, and it reads, "I gets mine."
I gets mine.
It's just a simple gold chain, and it says, "I gets mine." And Leon is one of the greatest television characters ever. I don't know. I can't even remember how they found a way to insert him into this show.
Yeah. I
just remember being like, oh, thank God, because he's great. And then, like we talked about, at one point he took over the whole goddamn thing. It was crazy. Oh, Curb.
But
I'll say. As the chaser you need after The Outsider, it plays perfectly. Because The Outsider is dark as hell.
Yeah, it is.
And they give you those 40-second shots of rooms after people walk out of them, and you're just like looking at every object like, which one is going to turn into a thing? It's terrifying. All right, so in huge news in the movie world.
Time for a news brief?
In breaking news, enough time has passed since our most recent mass shooting that anyone cared about, apparently, and now we can release The Hunt.
That's right.
Finally, Universal is releasing The Hunt. That movie, what is it? It's by Lindelof wrote it, right?
Yeah, which I think maybe we talked about that on this podcast at some point, but I did not internalize that until today when I was reading about the re-release of the movie. Yeah, Lindelof wrote this? Are you kidding me?
I didn't internalize it at all until this news broke. I didn't have that in my head at all.
Which also...
I thought you probably would, and I'd feel like a fool.
No, but I'm just feeling like a general fool because none of this is surprising, by the way. I'm a big Christopher Nolan guy. I'm a big Damon Lindelof guy. Know what movie I love that is ridiculed in many circles but also has lots of passionate fans? Prometheus.
Yeah, I'm one of the passionate ones.
Lindelof wrote it. No wonder I fucking like that movie so much.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
I love that movie, though.
Yeah, so...
Some people shit on it. It
I know,
really makes me angry.
Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite sci-fis of all time.
If you don't like Prometheus, you're just not deep enough, man.
You just don't get it.
You just don't get it.
You shallow human. You disgust me. Yeah, so this is finally coming out, though.
But so, yeah, Lindelof wrote this thing. So, I mean...
He wrote it with Watchmen collaborator Nick Hughes.
Why would I not want to see this?
And it's about people hunting people.
People hunting people.
I'm in.
Yeah. There's also a new...
Hilary Swank is in it.
That's right. There's a new Wes Anderson flick coming out.
Is that so?
Yeah.
What is it about?
Trailer dropped today. It's called...
Oh, shit, I haven't even watched it yet.
Yeah, it's called the...
New New Yorker-inspired film.
The French... Why am I forgetting
Dispatch.
this? The French Dispatch, thank you. Yeah.
Sweet.
So we've got that to look
Comes
forward
out this
to.
summer.
Yeah, another thing... This movie coming out very soon. Did you... Will Ferrell, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, they were presenters at the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
They are starring in a movie together that comes out in like a week called Downhill. You ever heard of this?
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
Have you heard about this?
I have watched this trailer, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that.
They're a family
I
on
love both
a
of them,
ski vacation,
too, so
right?
I want to see that.
That's the premise?
Yeah, they're on a ski vacation.
I have absolutely zero reason not to watch a Will Ferrell, Julia Louis-Dreyfus-led ski vacation movie.
Yeah.
That's 1,000% going into my brain. That's a thing I will take in. In other breaking news, Birds of Prey flopped so hard in the box office that they actively changed the title of the film after its release, which I'm not sure is a thing I've seen before and is also fucking hysterical. They changed it to Harley Quinn... ... Birds of Prey. What is that ... called?
Colon?
Colon. Harley Quinn Birds of Prey rather than Birds of Prey, parentheses, and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn, which means that the one rich guy who was still standing, who was still holding his fucking own and not breaking, finally said, screw it, change the name. Because... the argument must have been like, well, the title's too long and crazy, and people don't know all these words like fantabulous and emancipation, and they're scary. And then look, and then they changed it, and this one dude broke, and now we're here. This is just sad. Sad.
Now,
very sad.
To be clear, it's I believe that some cinemas have changed the name.
Like.
On like the marquee.
In an effort to, as a reflection of we don't have room for all these letters on our marquee?
No, it's still, the impetus to make this change was because it was...
Not doing well.
It did not do great in its first weekend. It debuted at $33 million, 81...
But it was well below its like projected.
81 million worldwide.
Yeah.
And it only cost 84.5 to make, which by
so
superhero
make money.
Movies... is pretty cheap, honestly.
It's kind of weird because Ford versus Ferrari had the same budget and it made less, and that was considered a hit. But it's probably just expectation.
It's expectation.
Because it's superhero.
Exactly, and it's going to make money. And
I
also think, Mike told us right at the end of our Patreon podcast yesterday that this movie's actually pretty good.
Yeah, Mike's going to bat for it on Twitter.
It's really
it's Rotten Tomatoes score and its tomato meter and audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is above 80% on each one. So like,
can't ask for more.
I think it's probably going to. I imagine that its life will be extended through some good word of mouth and decent reviews.
It's an Austin Powers situation where that movie was a flop in the box office, and then people word of mouth caught on, and then people liked it, and it made a bunch of money on home video.
Now, having said all that, I think that putting Harley Quinn's name in the title of the movie, like, that was probably should have been done in the first place. It probably should have always been called Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, or something like that. Because for me, before the reviews, the only draw for this movie was that it starred Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Me too. Absolutely. For a lot of people, I think. Yeah. No, I mean, it just seems like this is not what you want. Confusion over the
right. No,
they've got three. It's AMC,
Yeah.
Cinemark, and Regal that are three that are displaying it as a different name in an effort to try to boost the ticket sales. And
also,
shit.
I don't know how that's going to boost ticket sales.
I'm telling you,
how is the theaters changing the name going to boost ticket sales? Like, people are just going to be
the
like,
website?
hey, let's go see a movie tonight. And they're going to scroll through the list
I think a lot of people do that.
and be like, oh, Harley Quinn. I've never heard of this movie ever before. But I know Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad, which I really liked.
Feels strange that would ever happen in the age of social media, right?
Yeah.
Like, already, right? Maybe.
It seems like you'd know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It's just a whole...
I kind of want to see it. I love her.
I know.
And
I do
Mike
too.
said they make one of y'all said they make a joke at the expense of Jared Leto, which I'm in for.
Yeah.
Always in for that. So I don't know, man.
And Ewan McGregor's really funny in it.
Oh, word.
Ewan McGregor's in it?
Yeah, he's the heavy. He's a bad guy.
Nice. Chris Messina is in this movie as well.
Chris Messina is his number one. Yeah. He's really, really funny, too.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of love.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about...
Rosie Perez is like born to play this role that she plays. Mary Elizabeth Winstead is amazing in the movie.
See, Mike going to bat.
That's right.
I like this movie.
He's going to bat for it. I'm in. Now I'm in. I don't know if I'm going to go see it in theaters, but I'm in to watch it for sure. I'm not saying I'll pirate it.
I'll tell you, it drags a bit in the middle, but the beginning and the end, it's a lot of fun.
I mean, you answer this with one word. Is it hot?
It is hot.
Okay. You're supposed to just say one word. That was three, but a simple yes would have
This
done.
movie, The Birds of Prey, the emancipation of one Harley Quinn, is
flaming
quite
hot.
flaming, hot. Super hotty hot.
Hot bread, Zeke. And on that note, we'll take you to our Academy Awards conversation. You want to throw people to this little teaser? Little slap and tickle
before we throw
going
them
in?
to the teaser, I wanted to comment quickly on two things that I forgot to mention on the Patreon podcast.
Okay.
Bong Joon-ho, when he won Best Director, and shouted out Quentin Tarantino for having been a longtime Bong fan, Bong ripper, if you will, putting his movies on lists, shouting him out, doing all sorts of stuff. And then also, of course, like taking a special moment for Martin Scorsese, who then got an impromptu standing ovation.
That was beautiful.
That was so cool.
And Scorsese was sleeping most of the night.
It was, I guess, mildly surprising that Irishman got shut out. But honestly, I don't really think that Marty cares. I agreed with it being shut out. I don't think that any of those dudes care. I think they wanted to make the movie because they wanted
the movie was tight.
One last crack at it, and it was a great movie, and it got nominated for a bunch of awards, which is just
Before I forget,
that's really all you can ask for.
I saw somebody make the joke on Twitter that the scene with De Niro kicking the guy that we made fun of a whole bunch because it was fucking terrible, that it was like watching a fight scene from Team America World Police. That was it was somebody came up with that, whoever it was, sir or ma'am, you were hilarious.
Yeah,
I've searched for that for months, and that is the perfect way to explain that.
Anyway, very cool ode to both of those directors there, especially the standing O for Scorsese was neat. And then I got a big kick out of all of the various Elsas singing the song, each like a little snippet of it in their own language. And it would like come up on the screen and say their name and what language they had done the film in.
The elf lady in the back was scary.
Yeah, she was a little creepy back there. I don't know what that was about.
I don't know what that was about either. I don't know. I just liked that. I thought that was cool because it made you. It just kind of like put something in front of you.
Made you
that
acknowledge
you don't
other
really,
countries
that you don't really think about that often.
and languages.
And that you know,
you don't think about that other people speak different languages?
no, I don't think about Frozen. When you're thinking about Frozen and other
you don't
Disney
think
movies
about
being global fucking smashes that make
Gotcha.
$1 billion,
Right, distributed in 50 languages and shit.
especially the animated ones,
Yeah.
Idina Menzel and Kristen Bell are in like 1/100th of the versions of it, basically.
That is crazy to consider, dude.
Which is interesting because you've got all these other people, and a lot of them probably stars in their own right in their own countries,
I wonder, that's got to be a strange split financially.
jumping in, and it's just, I mean, probably not. It's an American movie made by Disney, so Idina Menzel and Kristen Bell probably have all the big
power,
like salary or back end or stipulations or whatever, and then I'm sure it's like a contract, like everybody else gets paid a rate to do it, basically.
But you enjoyed the singing and the...
I enjoyed that one. Overall, far too many musical performances, obviously. There were like 17 of them. I think, honestly, that might have been the number. It was insane.
It might as well have been the goddamn Grammys.
Yeah.
It was. Are we gonna do a bunch of movies shit at the Grammys?
But
what the fuck was this?
But that one in particular, I was just like, cool. I like this. That was me in front of my couch.
But you know what I'm
In front
saying
of my
though is
TV,
like,
on my couch.
why is it that we feel we have to have so much music to draw people to care about movies?
Because I've been trying to sort this out in my mind. The producers of the show think that I think they know the show is overall, as a whole, it's boring. Everybody's sitting in chairs. Nobody is drinking. They don't have that going for them like with the Globes.
Right.
Like half the fun of the Globes is that we get to see all the big celebrities
At
rubbing
their
elbows with
tables,
each other at their tables,
circular
pouring
tables.
champagne. Like that whole thing is like fun.
Yeah.
The Oscars
Feels like
are,
you're at the party.
Yeah. So the Oscars are dull by comparison because that's not happening. And so they're like, we need to spruce this up and have like fun, entertaining moments throughout the show. And they resort to musical performances to do that because they
Too often though, I guess.
because they think that's more entertaining. But honestly, I would just rather have the show be 30 minutes shorter.
Or just get better presenters. Or fucking hire a host, you cheap bastards.
I don't know. Yeah. Anyways,
Get somebody to come out there and tell some jokes. Shit. Make Corden come back out with the cat suit on. Let somebody kick his ass.
oh, did you see that the
That'd be entertaining.
VFX union was not chill about that?
Oh, I'm sure they weren't,
They
dude.
were not happy.
Well, and frankly, the VFX union should cease to exist after that movie's creation because it is clearly not accomplishing whatever that union was meant to accomplish if this film was allowed to exist. Freaking everybody out, scaring the kids and shit. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I don't
union.
follow the logic, but
I'm just kidding.
maybe those specific visual effects people.
All of them should be canned
Well,
from their
you know.
union. Can you be booted from a union
They
for
did.
being...
They did the best that they could.
Look, can you be booted from a union for promoting your pro-furry bias onto the rest of us?
I don't think so.
I need to look into union law.
And I actually, I don't even know if it's a union. It's the Visual Effects Organization. They slammed.
Sounds like a union to me.
They slammed Mocking Cat segment at the Oscars.
Slammed?
They slammed it.
Christ, you never ever want slammed to be the thing.
Oh wait,
that
now
people are
here
doing.
it is being called the Visual Effects Society.
Slammed.
Okay, sorry. This is riveting podcasting. I know. Let's.
We
can
can
get out-
Oscar
we can-
preview.
yeah.
So we did on patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles, we did an entire episode recapping and discussing the Academy Awards, which we have now given you a little bit of extra sprinkles on top of the cherry on top of the pie on the cake. And
we were already giving you the cherry. Now we gave you a little whipped cream surrounding it.
Yeah, just a little whipped cream around the nipples.
Yeah, like
Patreon-
Varsity Blues.
Patreon
Just like Varsity Blues.
We tied it into a movie. It's fine. Patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles, and you'll get the entire thing. But here's a few minutes of Barrett and I further discussing some piece of the Academy Awards that I later deemed to be worthy of you hearing right now as a tease to make you think that maybe this entire episode would be worthwhile. Here it is. I am getting sick and tired of the few years we've spent now where every single award show is focused on diversity, women's rights, breaking down the old rule of Hollywood. These are all good things, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. But then we're still running out an Academy Awards with no female directors nominated. Then we're still starting the award show in 2020 with Chris Rock and Steve Martin joking about the same shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's if we're not going to move forward and start booting the people that are preventing us from moving forward, then what the fuck, man? I'm just getting sick of that.
Yeah.
It's like it feels so repetitive. Anyway, to move on, not spend too much time on that.
Here's For reference, last year's Best Actress nominees: Lady Gaga, A Star Is Born; Olivia Colman, The Favorite; Glenn Close, The Wife; Melissa McCarthy, Can You Ever Forgive Me; and Yalitza Aparicio for Roma.
So you've seen at least a couple of them going in.
I've seen at least a couple of those going in, and I thought Olivia Colman in The Favorite was like just a knockout throwdown performance.
I love
like,
her,
it's
by the way.
incredible.
Her speech, her little presenting speech last night.
So right there, like again, I've heard great things about Scarlett Johansson in Marriage Story. Mixed reviews on Bombshell, and like I'm sure the other performances are good, but it might have just not been the greatest year for the Best Actress category. I don't know.
No, I don't know. From there, Parasite wins foreign film, as we knew it would, and then that's when he gives us, he's kind of like, man, you could tell, dude thought that was it. He was like, all right, we fucking did it. Ends up getting Best Picture. First time a foreign film has ever won that. I mean, really, really bigger deal than even I realized in the moment. I was just stoked for the squad, right? Because we loved the movie so much, and we've been yelling "Respect Mr. Park" ever since. And all his speeches were solid. I love his translator. And then I noticed on Twitter after the award show ends that my boy Neil Brennan, who's the co-creator of Chappelle's Show, who's Dave Chappelle, who I by and large consider, now that Louis ended up being a pervert, to be the greatest stand-up comedian in my lifetime. And I believe Neil Brennan to be up there with him as well. A lot of Dave's success, humor, and comedy should be attributed to Neil. They are very much a partnership. It'd be almost like Elton John and Bernie. His name's Bernie, right? Please tell me that motherfucker's name is Bernie. Thank you. It'd be like if you didn't credit Bernie for any of Elton's shit. You know how Elton brings Bernie out to everything he does now?
Yeah.
That's because that's half of Elton John. Half. That motherfucker's writing songs. I mean, this dude is more important to Elton John than Elton John.
Yeah.
And Neil Brennan is that guy to Dave Chappelle. So Neil fires off, is it too early to say the central metaphor in Parasite didn't actually work? And I was like, oh, Neil, you prick. Like this 20 minutes after the show ends. Then he says, another tweet, who is the parasite, the rich or the poor? With that in mind, explain the third act to me. And then, I mean, he's going through with fans responding. People said the movie is about how capitalism is bad. If you're having a hard time with that, I don't know what to tell you. And he says, capitalism is bad is awfully vague. As I've said in other tweets, it's something a freshman at a liberal arts college would use as a catch-all to describe their vague, meandering art. Now, here's the thing. I started to notice more and more weird Bong Joon-ho hate after I saw Neil up on this train. It's essentially as if people are upset that he's trying to paint class warfare, social status issues into these. Because his other movie that is very well known and talked about is the one that was on a train. Snowpiercer, which I watched by like accident 10 fucking years ago or whenever. And by the way, there's a really cool story about how Harvey Weinstein basically destroyed the distribution and promotion of that film, and it's why it didn't get any fucking love really. And he also tried to like get him to change fundamental things in the movie. Bong ended up lying to Guy and like making up stories about, like, for one scene I read a quote, he was like, he lied to Harvey Weinstein and had to tell him that the scene he wanted in the movie that Harvey was trying to cut was a dedication to his grandfather. Bong said, he's like, no, I need this scene. It's dedicated to my dead grandpa. And Harvey said, well, you should have said so. Family is everything. You can keep the scene.
Okay.
And Bong said, thank you. There was no grandpa. He fucking lied. He made the whole thing up. Anyway, where was I going with this?
I think you were just saying that there was a little bit of, we saw Twitter backlash.
Oh, yes. So then I saw people rip it into
it's Twitter,
Snowpiercer. Yeah, it's Twitter, but it felt weird when like everybody was so, we did it, Parasite, we all win, everybody in the room standing ovation. Like, I mean, it just, everybody seemed stoked for Bong. And then after the fact on Twitter, people were like, man, fuck that simple idea. Of course economics are a problem. Of course rich people and poor people have issues. Like, what? Dude, what? No, I thought it was deep as fuck. And it struck me, the parasite was the family. The parasite was also like, it had a ton of different meanings, and you're supposed to draw from it. Neil, what happened here?
Yeah. I would just direct anybody to go listen to our Patreon episode about the movie, because
that's what I wanted to do with him.
I feel like we fleshed it out pretty well.
Didn't we?
And
people are still having this conversation. We already did it for you.
I mean, It's all of it. It's both. It's the rich and the poor. Like
It's the system.
It's the system. Yeah.
The whole thing's fucking. I don't get how you walked out of that and went, well, that message didn't hit.
Yeah, there was. I actually wasn't even going to shine light on some of the negativity surrounding Parasite on Twitter last night.
I was infuriated.
But since we're here, we can dive a little bit further into it. But
have I upset you with the negativity?
No, I was just gonna. Sometimes I just hate like giving it shine. Because
I feel
it's just fucking Twitter.
But okay. And to your point, it's so difficult for me because Twitter is so hardcore.
Yeah.
And people feel so strongly about these opinions they shit out. And then for whatever reason, I feel like Twitter's our own world. Like nothing I say there is ever going to be seen or heard anywhere else except Twitter.
Yeah.
People feel more comfortable like blasting these hot takes. But there were enough of them to where I don't genuinely normally feel the need to defend great art because it will defend itself.
Yeah.
In this case, I was like, no, fuck that. Like, it pissed me off.
Yeah. The notable professional Twitter flamer, Clay Travis.
Oh, I unfollowed this dude in like 2017, but yeah.
Tweeted a poll that was if Parasite had been an American film, directed by an American, filmed in English, would it have won Best Picture?
It wasn't.
And
it doesn't, and that's not how it works.
And then got into all of his replies because obviously people were upset by this.
Yeah.
And basically was like condemning it winning the award based on the merits that if it had been an American film, it probably wouldn't have won. Completely missing like the entire point that it was so effective because of its look into a different culture that is not ours.
Yes.
That reflects back on us.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes. I thought that was clear cut though.
You see yourself in a new light.
It's not clear cut to dummies.
When you know, classic stuff from a guy like Clay Travis that doesn't understand like the benefits of putting yourself in other people's shoes, right?
Yes.
Like in like seeing different perspectives.
Yes.
And casting things
very problematic
from like in like new facets that maybe you hadn't considered.
In fact, I would argue it makes you a worthless human
or seen before. And so it's just like it doesn't. No, the movie in American wouldn't have been as effective.
That's wouldn't not have how been able, conversations work.
It wouldn't have been able to subtly say the things that it said. It would have been Americanized and too political and like over.
Which is a big part of it, by the way.
Snowpiercer. It would not have made the same impact because it wouldn't have been able to be as subtle about
Bong Joon-ho when he made Snowpiercer and shit that was supposed to be his huge American like English-speaking fucking, this was him coming in, and he was going to make his big wave in America and become a huge American director, okay? And when shit got all messed up, he went back home to Korea and did it his way, right? And that's what makes the story so cool. It's like every award they won last night was like a giant fuck you to Harvey Weinstein as well, because this dude went back home and did it his way in his language, in his country, and got everything that he wanted out of it. So... Nah, man, those takes make no sense to me at all. And then I'll give you this. For guys like Clay Travis, his whole job is built on firing out hot takes so that people will then respond to them and so that he can then argue with them.
Yeah.
Here's why that's a problem. Once every single moron in the country has figured out that, oh my God, all I have to do is yell out hot takes into the universe and then that's a job. Like, that's cool, man. But we're going to need way more people with actual takes they believe in and stand by if any of this media shit's going to work. So, like, right now, we're so inundated with all these morons who are just making headlines and saying things for the sake of the wrong reasons, basically. We need people doing things for the right reasons. Clay Travis is an example of a guy that at no point does he ever write or say anything he actually means. Everything about him is the brand, making money, and building the brand. Truth is inconsequential to that human being, which is why I unfollowed the motherfucker because I couldn't take it anymore, and everything had to tie to race and being a white dude, and it was just like, enough, bro. Also, talk about sports, fuckstick. You're a sports guy.
Twitter puts so much in front of you that you don't follow now. I don't follow Clay Travis.
Why are they doing this to us?
But I saw it because of...
Somebody liked it or
interactions
something.
and like, stuff that was Twitter.
This shit kills me, bro.
Deemed relevant to me. So, it is what it is.
I'm with you. Okay, I need to not let it affect me so much.
Everybody was, you could tell by, like you said, by the uproarious applause that Parasite got when it won. Like even the other people that were nominated, I think were at the very least happy for this film. You know what I mean? And it's
I thought-
it's
And
it's
I
huge.
think maybe
It's
that's
huge.
what it is, Barrett.
An
Watching them win, I'm sitting there thinking like, man, it's so cool how everybody's so happy for this squad, not just Bong.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that was in the movie did such a good job, man. I watched it again last night, by the way. Fucking unbelievable movie. I assumed everybody, kind of, right? And then when I started to see the hate online, I was like, it's creeping into my brain. Well, shit, what if Scorsese's sitting there thinking like, fuck these Asians, I should have gotten that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just
Sure.
it opened my mind back up to like how much hating, unnecessary hating there is all of the time. But
Yeah.
anyway, and Neil Brennan, it crushed me because I love that dude and I respect him so much. Go watch Three Mics on Netflix, his stand-up special. It's the first stand-up comedy show I've ever seen that mixes like the reality of depression and mental illness and life with really, really, really funny stuff. He like tells a joke at one mic, goes and drops a serious anecdote at another, and I can't remember what the third is. Maybe he just farts into it or something. No, it's definitely not that. But Three Mics is awesome. Last thing I had on my notes: Rebel Wilson and James Corden coming out dressed as cats.
Yeah.
Now, when they came out on stage in the cat costumes, I was like, man, there's no way. Because wasn't Cats made by, like, Paramount or something? Well, I mean, it was a big production.
Yes.
Massive production made by Amblin Entertainment, Working Title Films, Perfect World Pictures. I mean, it is a big, big deal. I didn't think they would let them make fun of it. I didn't think they would let them come out in cat costumes and then make a joke like, nobody knows how important visual effects are, like the two morons who just tanked part of their careers by doing the Cats movie.
Universal. It was a Universal.
Okay, so that was wild to me that they were able to get away with that. That being said, it was kind of funny, them pawing at the microphone for like 40 seconds.
What's the studio supposed to do at that point? Like, there's no saving this.
But they
so you might as well
Yeah, I know.
let the actors that were in the movie have a little fun at its expense.
Yeah.
At least that makes you look like you're self-aware a little bit.
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
I get that. The thing is, if you go look, like they didn't pull their Cats marketing for like award season until like a week ago. So like they were still like, no, there's a chance. We've got this. Maybe we'll get one for sound editing or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was our Academy Awards teaser for you. Hope you enjoyed it. Patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles for the entire thing. As I mentioned before, Barrett and I also did the Golden Globes. We had a ton of fun. For whatever reason, the award shows, good or bad, it turns out, result in very fun podcast discussion for us, which I honestly it's not something I would have predicted. The first one we did, I was like, I don't know how this is going to go, and it was phenomenal. It was a lot of fun.
Good or bad, long or short, boring or fun, they are pillars of the pop culture realm.
Indeed.
And therefore, they provide much fodder.
Much fodder. You
For
can get
our
all
discussion and your entertainment.
All of that fodder ad-free. Support the podcast. Get additional either 3 or 4 episodes, additional OCC each month, ad-free. And just have that warm, fuzzy feeling in your heart knowing, my God, I've done my part as part of the Clam fam, as part of the Crustacean Nation, or hopefully even the mollusk.
Yeah, stimulate that economy,
militia.
baby.
Stimulate it. That will do it for today's episode of OCC. Huge thanks to our sponsor, Quip, for supporting the show. Go hit that URL, which is getquip.com/dragon, and support our sponsors. You can also support us directly at Patreon, like we mentioned, where so far in February we've pumped out our 2020 Oscars recap and review, which you just got a little taste of. Our hotline calls for all. We've got more great stuff coming as well. Follow us on social media. On Instagram at Oysters, Clams, Cockles. On Twitter at Clams and Cockles. And we're on Facebook.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles. You can follow me, Ross Bolin, at WRBolin, at WRBOLEN on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And you can listen to my other podcast, the Ross Bolin Podcast, which delves into mental health and animals and pirates and serial killers and is comedy-based and humor-based, but also talks about serious life shit wherever you're listening to OCC or watching on YouTube.com/Bolin Media, which, by the way, you could be watching every episode of Barrett and I's podcast, Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, right there on YouTube.com/Bolin Media. So keep that in mind. Barrett, where can we follow you and hear more of your voice?
Social media, at Barrett Dudley, Instagram and Twitter. And then check out Club Cool Podcast wherever you're listening to this one. Last week, we had an episode that was all about skiing. So, shouts to Downhill.
Shouts to ski.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Will Ferrell.
We're still in the heart of ski season, are we not?
Yeah, we are. And we even had a conversation about how there's really only like 4 ski movies out there. Like Out Cold, Hot Tub Time Machine.
Phenomenal, both of those.
Ski School.
Not seen it.
Johnny Tsunami, that's it. 4. That's the 4.
Haven't seen the last 2.
Yeah.
I saw Out Cold in theaters.
Really?
In theaters. And
Weren't
I
you
remember,
like 8?
And I remember thinking to myself, we were like 12 probably, right?
Huh.
I remember thinking to myself, though, this is ridiculous. Galifianakis fucks a hot tub. He gets his penis stuck in a hot tub. That's part of the movie. It's a very funny comedy.
Yeah, no, it's good.
It's just dumb as hell.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Delinquent.
Anyways, yeah.
Even.
You can also follow that podcast on Instagram at Club Cool Pod. And Yep.
Yeah. Don't stick your wiener in a hot tub tonight, anybody.
Don't do that.
That's how we end the show, with a piece of advice for the kids. All right, we're gonna leave. Until our next helping. Adios, muchachos.
Bye.